Unlock your best self with the Life Hack Pack from More Labs. The Life Hack Pack contains 2 bottles of Morning Recovery, 2 bottles of Dreamwell, and 2 bottles of Liquid Focus. The Life Hack Pack is specially designed to help you live your life not just better, but smarter. Morning Recovery is designed to be taken while drinking or up to an hour after your last drink. Dreamwell is designed to be taken 30 minutes before you're ready to fall asleep. And Liquid Focus is designed to be taken 30 minutes before you have to lock in and get stuff done. Supercharge your productivity at home or work with the Life Hack Pack from More Labs. Use promo code Radio15 at morelabs.com to get 15% off your first purchase of the Life Hack Pack or any of their other great products. That's promo code Radio15 to take advantage of this great promo of 15% off your first purchase at morelabs.com. The Life Hack Pack from More Labs. Drink smart with Morning Recovery, sleep easy with Dreamwell, and get more done with Liquid Focus. You can finally do it all with help from More Labs. Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I am Dave Weishottle, and as always, I am joined by my producer and co-host Doug Weishottle and the Los Angeles Lakers. Congratulations to the champions of the NBA, and also congratulations to you. You put a little bet on the Lakers. What was the bet that you made?
I did the series total of 4-2, Lakers.
So Lakers won, and you
won me a little coin.
Look at that. All right.
So that was a nice little way to enjoy the NBA Finals. I think that's what sports betting is all about, fan engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I saw. Where did you place it at? Did you even know? Or
it was FanDuel.
FanDuel, okay. I got to tell you, it's a very interesting time. We just wound down the NBA. I mean, the baseball championships, the fantastic, the Dodgers and the Braves and the Rays, and the Rays are doing incredible. I think everyone's rooting for the Rays over the Astros. The Astros are everyone's villain.
Smallest bankroll in the championship series right now.
Little engine that could.
Got rid of the Yankees.
And also Tuesday Night Football. Never thought I'd ever say that, but Tuesday Night Football.
Very
experienced Tuesday Night Football.
Very interested to see the ratings. Because I remember people were talking about the NFL always wanted to expand the TV menu. Maybe Tuesday Night Football could be something of the future. I'm
very curious, too, how much Tuesday Night Football was bet on. I mean, if they have a big night at the sports books, which I'm assuming there's going to be. I'm waiting for those numbers to come out. Yeah, it should be. I wonder if there's going to be talk about more nights of NFL football.
That's the one thing I'm looking at in the future here. I mean, you're not only with the betting, but also fantasy sports, too.
Sure.
So especially with the single game things, I mean, this just added more to the menu.
It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Well, we got a couple more news and notes coming in about the sports betting numbers, both handle and revenue, for the month of August.
I got to tell you, August has been incredible. I mean, and this only makes me more curious about what the numbers are going to be in September when all the sports are really playing. So it should be very, very interesting.
Well, funny you should say that because
Okay.
in this week's book report, if you tune into that, you will be hearing some of the September numbers from around the country from a couple of different states. We had a couple records set.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
All
but
right,
we'll
great.
discuss that in the book report this week.
Nice.
But the American Gaming Association took a look at the August sports betting numbers from around the country, and it was a record-setting August for the entire United States market.
Okay.
We talked about last week about New Jersey setting their record handle for the month of August, $668 million.
Yeah, I think we also talked about Vegas setting a state record as well.
That was that was also part of that. But again, this is we're looking at the entire month of August in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The calendar month of August led to a $2.1 billion handle.
Wow.
Largest monthly handle in U.S. sports betting history.
Wow. Boy.
175% year-on-year rise. Now, again, this is an unusual August, also even an unusual September, too, because of all the COVID-delayed sports.
Sure. And some games are still being delayed, so it's still a mess.
Everything's being shifted
So
around,
it's weird.
so it's actually kind of interesting to watch all these sports handle the COVID thing. But going back to the topic of the numbers that the American Gaming Association was looking at, not only was it a record handle, but it was also a record revenue report for the United States.
Good.
119 million, 119.4 million. Let me get the exact number out there. Second highest month ever, and a 90% year-on-year improvement.
Great.
For the month of August. Again, we had 4 states leading the way. New Jersey was first in August, 668 million, 127.5% rise from August of last year.
Okay, and this is handle, right?
This is handle.
Okay.
Largest monthly handle ever recorded in any state.
Wow.
So New Jersey did a historic record for the month of August. 4 states saw the handle surpass $100 million in August. Nevada reached $474.5 million in handle. Pennsylvania came in with $365 million. Indiana came in with $169 million.
Wow.
And the newest addition to the market, Colorado, or one of the new additions to the market, Colorado, also brought in $128 million in August. And
that's unbelievable.
The one thing,
Colorado has been absolutely amazing these last couple of months, and the news coming out of Colorado is they're just getting better and better, and there are more sports books coming to Colorado, and I think they're going to be an incredible market.
And the one thing I always find interesting about Colorado, reading these reports, one of the games that's still providing a lot of action in that market is table tennis.
Really? Still? Really? Oh, boy. I tried betting on that twice, I think, and I did terrible in both times. I just don't know table tennis. I don't know. I actually don't even know the rules or how it's scored. I guess it was like actual tennis, but, But, no, it was interesting to watch. I mean, these guys smack that ball like you wouldn't believe, but, it's tough to bet on when you just don't know the sport.
I have to admit, every time I see a table tennis match, all I can think about is Forrest Gump.
Yeah. I mean, that's how hard they're hitting the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
if you see it in that movie, I mean, that ball is like moving like
Well, in the
God
movie,
knows
the ball's
how quick.
not there. That's CG.
Yeah.
So it's not CG in table tennis.
The only time I watch table tennis is when I bet on it, and the mobile sports book or the online sports book that I bet on it was actually streaming it, and that's how I watched it. So it was interesting to watch.
I wonder with table tennis, is the broadcasting of it going to get better?
I don't know. I've never seen it on TV. Like I said, the only time I've seen it was the mobile sportsbook or the online sportsbook where I placed the bet. They were streaming it, and I actually don't know if they had announcers, but I didn't hear any announcers because maybe my sound was off. But I didn't hear any announcers.
Do the announcers really matter in table tennis? I don't know.
I don't know.
Then to round out the topic, revenue shares. New Jersey brought in $39.5 million, up 56.5% year on year.
Okay.
Pennsylvania $27.6 million, and Nevada had $17 million in revenue for the month of August.
All right.
All big numbers.
Yep.
Exit 2.
Okay, last week we had an interview based upon the industry of esports.
Yes, the Book of Esports.
And
William Collis, very good, very good author and a knowledgeable person about esports.
And Exit 2, we always try and have an esports topic for it because
Okay.
I've kind of designated this as the esports area.
All right.
Well, the Big East is now joining the esports craze. I guess you can call it a craze.
Well, sure, it's a craze. I guess so. Hey, when you're talking about colleges, when colleges are giving scholarships for it, yeah, and it's a craze.
Well, just for people who are not sure of who is part of the Big East, we're talking about 8 of the country's top 36 largest media markets, the schools located in those markets. We have Butler University, University of Connecticut, Creighton, DePaul University, Georgetown University, Marquette, Providence College, St. John's University, Seton Hall University in Jersey, Villanova University, and Xavier University. They round out the Big East. They're the schools that make up the Big East. Well, the Big East Conference has now signed a 3-year agreement with the Electronic Gaming Federation. They are joining the Varsity Esports Federation to do a bunch of tournaments with some major schools around the country.
That is becoming huge. I mean, with colleges and universities becoming involved in esports, these tournaments are just growing and exploding. It's absolutely amazing to watch.
Well, this began October 5th. All 11 teams in all 11 Big East schools, I should say, will now compete in an annual 16-week season organized by the Federation. It's the first time they are all a member of this EGF Collegiate League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all Division I varsity esports teams.
All right.
Like I said, it began October 5th. It's going to go 16 weeks, and it'll conclude next year with the EGFC National Championship in late April. They're going to be covering a whole bunch of different games. It's the Rocket League, FIFA, or FIFA, I don't know, however you want to pronounce it. I always hear people say it differently. Overwatch and Super Smash Brothers.
I've never Super Smash Brothers. Why does that remind me?
That's not Mario. That's not Mario.
Okay, I was going to. Is it the? I know Mario
No.
and. Why do we keep calling it Mario? No one calls it Donkey Kong anymore. It's really Donkey Kong. Really,
Donkey Kong has not appeared in any of the Mario games.
But wasn't that the genesis of the Mario Brothers?
Don't say Genesis. That's a competitor.
Okay. Well, isn't that the origination of Mario? Right?
Yeah, that's where Mario came from. But Donkey
right.
Kong has not appeared in Mario Brothers.
I haven't played Donkey Kong in a long time.
But you also got the Mario Kart Racing Esports League coming down the road.
Wow. Okay.
But I actually like watching Rocket League, which is kind of an interesting esports game. It's a combination of soccer with cars. The cars go around a soccer field kicking a ball. They have lasers attached to the cars.
Interesting.
They fight each other, all that. And it's actually kind of fun to watch.
So now that's going to be my next question. Can I watch these things?
All matches will stream on the EGF's 5 Twitch channels.
5 Twitch channels.
Yep,
Wow.
and the Big East YouTube channel.
Oh, all right. Okay. We talked about Twitch all the time. I mean, that's just synonymous now with esports. And YouTube.
Yeah.
And then YouTube.
Well, this is showing even more of how these leagues are forming. The Big East will be joining the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference of this Electronic Gaming Federation.
Wow.
So they have conferences and Division I, Division II, all this stuff for.
I didn't know they had these many
competitions.
conferences and things like that. All right, it's interesting to know.
And again, these will be streamed on the Twitch channels for the Electronic Gaming Federation, the YouTube channel for the Big East, and results are also going to be put up on the Electronic Gaming Federation's official Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for just results. They'll still show clips and everything else.
Okay.
But broadcasting, it'll be on the Twitch channels, the Big East YouTube channel. The Big East will be posting these up too, because each of the teams have their own individual Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all those pages too.
Okay.
So you're going to be able to watch all this stuff for the Big East, and congratulations to the Big East for getting into the Division I of Electronic Gaming Federation.
Exit 3.
Okay, follow this sentence closely.
All right.
We're going to be watching spring football in the fall.
Wait. Say that one more time.
We're going to be watching spring football in the fall.
All right. I don't know what that means.
Well, I kind of twisted it around so it was actually kind of fun to say it that way. We're going to be watching the Spring League. That's the name of the league.
That's the actual title of it, the Spring League.
It's a football league that's a developmental league for the NFL. Started in 2017.
Now, does spring refer to the season, or is it springing athletes to a bigger, better level of professional sports?
Well, it can be interpreted both ways, but yes,
right.
it's a spring. It's in the seasonal spring.
Oh, okay, it's in the spring.
Yes.
Okay. So.
And it's made up of NFL players, CFL players, people that were on active rosters like preseason, practice league, and even the active regular season rosters of NFL teams and CFL teams. CFL is not happening right now, and the NFL is having a delayed season and also different sets of lineups.
Well, NFL is not having a delayed. They're having
delayed
games.
Delayed
games or rearrange or reschedule games.
But also the rosters are set up different.
Okay.
And they're taking advantage of that. The Spring League has signed a multi-year deal for broadcast rights with Fox Sports. Fox Sports will be carrying TSL games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights all the way through to the league's championship game, which will be held during the week of November 23rd.
Okay.
Now, what makes this a little different, the Spring League is in one centralized location for both practices and games.
So all the teams play in one location.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
It's almost like a self-contained bubble.
It's a bubble.
Yeah.
The bubble league.
For that phrase is now going to be commonplace, I think. It's 6 teams, and this year it will be taking place in San Antonio, Texas. Now, they had a shortened season earlier this year, and they ended it. I just want to get the right date here. They had an abbreviated one in the month of March, right before the pandemic hit.
All right.
So later this month, in October here, they're going to be playing in San Antonio. They originally had it scheduled for Las Vegas, and they're not doing it in Las Vegas. They're now doing it in San Antonio. And it's, 12 games played over the course of 4 weeks. Championship game played at the conclusion of the regular season. Also, the players don't get paid for this. They get housing and food.
Really? Okay. Interesting.
Joint team practices, instruction from professional level coaches. I'm assuming it's not the NFL coaches since they're kind of busy right now. I would assume it's more CFL and more maybe even retired coaches from the NFL. Mm-hmm. And when the season is completed and the film is all done for the entire season on these players, the film is sent to NFL and CFL teams.
Oh, great.
For consideration.
Well, it's a chance for these players to get noticed.
I'm actually kind of curious to see this because, FS1 is going to be carrying it. It starts October 27th and goes to November 23rd, which is the championship game, and it's Tuesday and Wednesday night football. Now, I don't know what they're going to do if they have more NFL games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, in terms of ratings-wise, but this actually may get some ratings on FS1 during those nights.
I'll check it out. I'll always check it out.
Exit 4.
Well, and last but not least here this week, we're all the way through this pandemic, it's been UFC. We had Fight Island. We had all these different things UFC's been doing, the different pay-per-views.
I have to tell you, it's been very entertaining.
It's always fun to watch Dana White and see what he does.
He puts out a good product.
Well, now we're going to talk about their competitor.
Okay, all right.
The Bellator League has become the first mixed martial arts league to sign a digital broadcast rights agreement with the BBC UK.
So does that mean they're going to be broadcast in the UK? Because I know there's a BBC America.
It's only the BBC UK.
Okay, all
and
right.
It's also not even the BBC UK channel. It's digital broadcasting. This is going to be shown on the BBC iPlayer, which is an OTT channel for them. OTT service, I should say. It's an app on the Roku. It's an app on whatever smart TV you have.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got to check it out. I got Roku.
Well, I don't know if you can see it in the United States.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes these are coded where you can't actually watch them overseas.
Well, I'll still check it out. I'll see if I can download it or whatever you stream it or whatever they call it on Roku.
Well, Bellator has been slowly working this deal out with them. They're going to be showing... BBC UK will live stream 10 fights from the upcoming Paris event for Bellator. This is actually going to be the 4th event Bellator is having overseas, but it's going to be the first one ever, and the first time an MMA card is going to be in Paris.
Interesting.
So Bellator
First
is
time ever in Paris,
Yep.
really. I would think, it's such a large city in Europe. You would think UFC would have been there already.
Well, they are the first ones that are going to be having a Paris fight card. It's the fourth event in Europe for Bellator this coming year.
All right.
They're going to be this is 4 events in 2 weeks, and this is the culmination of these 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how this is broadcast. It's going to be at the Accor Arena under the supervision of the French Boxing Federation. It's fun to watch the UFC stuff, but Bellator has a little different style ring. It's an octagon, so it doesn't get as recognition that UFC does lately, especially with everything going on. Yeah. But Bellator is making strides too, and it's always fun to watch what the other side of the coin does with the MMA leagues.
And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And to get in touch with Turnpike Sports, you can call or text us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. Facebook and Twitter, you can hit us up there. At Turnpike Sports is the handle. At Turnpike Sports Radio is the handle for the show on Instagram. You can also email us at info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And now you can also listen to the show audio-wise on Amazon Music, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartMedia, Radio.com digital app also distributes the show. And you can also watch a televised version of the show. Just head on over to turnpikesports.net for the smart TV channel that we run in conjunction with the audio. You'll see us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, YouTube, and also Binge Networks.
Stay tuned to Turnpike Sports because later on we're going to have our NFL picks. I can't believe it's Week 6 already. And after that, we're going to have our Turnpike Sports Book Report where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. But coming up right after these messages, I'm going to be talking with Chris Altruda from SportsHandle.com, USBets.com, and Better Collective. We recorded an interview about Illinois and the sports betting scene in Illinois a couple weeks ago, and very interesting information he's giving out. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797.
Turnpike Sports is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. All the sports in this country are now playing, which means the betting markets are starting to pick up. One of the most interesting sports betting markets out there is Illinois. Even though it's a relatively new market, it's making headlines across the country. And to fill us in on what's going on in the land of Lincoln, we are going to talk with Chris Altruda from SportsHandle.com and Better Collective. Chris, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me. Pleasure as always.
Give us a refresher course in gambling in Illinois. I mean, give us a lay of the land. I mean, how many sports books are in Illinois? How many mobile sports books right now? How many casinos? What does gambling in Illinois look like?
It has gotten far more active in the past 6 weeks than at any point from when Governor Pritzker signed the gaming expansion bill into law from June 2019 up until August 1st. We now have 7 retail sports books in the state. We have 5 of them that are mobile. And at some point, there will be an 8th retail spot when Hawthorne Race Course goes live with its retail operations through PointsBet at the track, and also 3 OTB sites around the Chicagoland area. And that's expected to come within the next few weeks.
Wow. I mean, like I said, it's a very young sports betting market. I mean, when did Illinois allow sports betting in the state?
Governor Pritzker signed it into law in June of 2019, late June of 2019. It was a very deliberate process with the gaming board to get to this point in terms of rulemaking. And the first book launched in early March, approximately a week before the NCAA tournament. So they didn't even get to finish conference tournament week before they shut down. It was a total of 6 days from when the first sports book opened to when they shut down. Then June, Governor Pritzker issued an executive order suspending the in-person requirement to gain access to mobile sports wagering. He renewed that once, let it lapse. 2 weeks later, he restored it. And then this past week, he renewed that executive order again.
Yeah, I talked to you about this off air. This has been one of the stories coming out of Illinois that's been fascinating. This on-again, off-again requirement of finishing registration of your online sports books at a retail sports book. I mean, at one point, take us through that. Was the requirement in the actual law when he signed it into law? And what happened after that had... I don't want to say flip-flopping, but it seems like I'm not sure where it stands right now. So tell us about how to register for an online sports book in Illinois right now.
Okay, so the genesis of this actually goes back to 2015. During the Wild West era of the daily fantasy sports, FanDuel and DraftKings operated in Illinois. And there was no legal consensus on whether daily fantasy sports were legal. So eventually the state's attorney general, who was Lisa Madigan, who, for those who like Illinois politics, is the daughter of Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan, who is an Illinois institution in terms of politics here, passed down the legal opinion that daily fantasy sports were illegal, yet DraftKings and FanDuel were still operating. So now you fast forward to 2018, momentum starting to be generated to legalize sports betting in the state. Rivers Casino is the dominant casino of Illinois. To put it in perspective for people for Atlantic City and Nevada, it's kind of like the Borgata of Illinois casinos. Okay. That's the best way I can describe it. It's large, it's high end, and it makes money hand over fist. The owner of Rush Street Interactive and Rivers Casino, Neil Bloom, lobbied hard to find a way to keep DraftKings and FanDuel out of the Illinois sports betting market. He originally wanted a 3-year ban for them from when a retail sports betting license gets issued to when an online-only sports betting license could be issued. Naturally, FanDuel and DraftKings wanted no part of this and began, countering this request among, and lobbying among legislators. It got to a point where both sides were airing ads in the Chicago market disparaging the other. And at that point, Governor Pritzker stepped in personally and said, look, you guys have to stop this. And, eventually the upshot of it all was in the bill, there is a provision that an online-only applicant cannot apply for a sports betting license until 540 days after the first retail license is issued, which meant that essentially, the thing was the license wasn't issued until June, despite the fact everyone had temporary operating permits. So the clock didn't start on this till June of this year, which meant DraftKings and FanDuel, had they wanted to enter the market as an online only, would have to wait essentially until 2022.
Wow.
That wasn't going to fly either. So both of them sought workarounds to this ban. DraftKings entered a market share agreement with Casino Queen in East St. Louis, which is on the opposite side of the state from Chicago. FanDuel originally was going to go in with Fairmount Park Racetrack, which is also on the southwestern side of the state. That, however, did not proceed fast enough to their liking, so they used their partnership with Boyd Gaming to enter through Paradise Casino in Peoria. FanDuel did it a little backwards in the sense that their mobile launched before their retail launched, but they launched their mobile on August 28th, which was a little more than 3 weeks after DraftKings went live, both mobile and retail, on August 5th. So you have all three of those entities in there. And what happens is this goes back to the in-person registration in the sense that it was designed to give the brick and mortar casinos, a chance to use their walk-up business to sign up for sports betting. Then COVID came. And when Pritzker originally issued the executive order, which is 2020-41, no one really knew it was coming. There was no ground movement, so to speak, for it. He just issued it on June 4th, and then 2 weeks later, BetRivers went live with their mobile app. They were first to market, retail, first to market mobile. You get the initial renewal for 30 days, which made sense given that it was a new market, and in some respects it was kind of like a peace offering to BetRivers that they could have this exclusive window to themselves. Then when it lapsed, DraftKings, where Casino Queen at DraftKings is located in East St. Louis, is a region that had an uptick in COVID positive test rates. So as a result, they had further mitigations. The current COVID protocols were that casinos can only operate at 50% capacity. The increased mitigations knocked that capacity down to 25%, and it also reduced operating hours, where DraftKings' retail sportsbook is. So then a email push came from DraftKings lobbying state legislators and Governor Pritzker to restore it. And again, there was no sort of groundswell, and at some point, during the day, there was a lobbyist on Twitter who said, the executive order is being restored, and we're all sitting there kind of cockeyed looking at it going, really? And sure enough, he restored it on August 19th. So there was only this gap of 3 weeks where there wasn't remote registration in the summer. And given that you had William Hill come online, you had PointsBet come online, you had DraftKings come online, you had FanDuel come online, in that interim, renewing it last week was kind of a no-brainer. So we're now at the point where you can still remote register for any of these 5 sports books through at least October 19th. And what that's doing is it's giving essentially a body of evidence to legislators so that if there is the appetite to address this in-person provision in the law in the special legislative session in November, it's possible they could examine it and possibly remove it if the appetite is there to debate it.
See, that was going to be my next question. I wanted to know if there was a date where the executive order lapsed, and I guess it's now October, correct?
Yes, it's 30 days from when they issue, so it should be October 19th.
What has been the general feeling about this registration process? I mean, is the people in the government seeing, we're not having any issues with regarding remote registration. I mean, we can regulate it. It doesn't seem to be that big of a problem. And you know what? It's getting us money when we need money the most. Is there any feeling about that in the government right now?
No one has publicly said anything in terms of one way or the other. I think the last part is the most important part, that this is a state that needs money, coming from anywhere and everywhere in terms of revenue sources. And let's face it, I mean, sports betting revenue, tax revenue, is arguably one of the easiest low-maintenance methods a state government can create.
Yeah.
It's essentially a wind-up operation where everyone launches and money pours in. And the remote registration, I think, some of it is, the first set of it, I believe, was done to placate Rivers Casino to a degree, to have that exclusive window. And they did well in that exclusive window. Their online handle was almost $50 million.
Wow.
So as more sports books come online, there's going to be more money to be had. And, at 15% tax on gross revenues, it's going to be a sizable monthly paycheck that hits the Springfield coffer.
Well, let me ask you about, the extension of remote registration. I mean, what comes to mind, did that effectively end the penalty box provision in the original gaming expansion law? Or do you think, come November, when they look at it again, do you think that penalty box provision will still be in the legislation?
I think that they're going to have to take it up, because what this recent renewal does is creates a 30-day window where legislators can point to what I call a body of evidence when that revenue report comes out, that shows just the sheer amount of money people are betting when it comes to sports, and also how much money that the tax is going to bring in. I mean, you only have Rivers Casino and the Argosy Casino in Alton, which is also on the southwestern side of the state, in operation for the 3 months of reports they published. And it was $61 million, and the taxes generated from it were $600,000. And that comes into mind that the Argosy has no mobile operations, and one of the months that Rivers operates was exclusively online, and one was, exclusively retail, because in March, and the 6 days in March generated almost $1 million in handle. So there's money to be had, and they will need to do it. I think the penalty boxes at this point, it's like the toothpaste that left the tube. I think it's going to be difficult to put it back in. I'm sure there will be a lobby of some sort. But at the same time, the Illinois Gaming Board at its meeting last week said that there were 230,000 accounts registered. Now, that's not people. That's just signups on mobile apps. And that figure over the next 4 weeks, I'm sure, is going to grow exponentially, because you have these 5 books available.
Now, who are the 5 mobile sports books in Illinois right now?
Okay, so Bet Rivers was first.
Okay.
Then DraftKings, then FanDuel, then William Hill, then PointsBet. Wow. So those are your 5 right now. Well, PointsBet fourth, then William Hill. They were like within days of each other.
As I said, the Illinois sports betting market is relatively young, and recently it just released its first revenue report. How did Illinois do with regard to sports betting in the state?
I thought it did well, considering that you only had 2 casinos operating, and one of which, for retail purposes, was operating at 1/4 capacity. I thought the numbers were fairly promising. I thought that Bet Rivers, being the only game in town and still generating a handle of $47 million, close to $50 million, I thought that was an impressive haul. I think that as more people sign up remotely, you're going to see more Chicago residents, because one of the things that, while Bet Rivers is operating and does operate, it's still somewhat of a hassle to get to, because it's on the outskirts of the city, and people who live on the east side of the city would have to drive through the city to get to Bet Rivers. because it's on the outskirts by O'Hare Airport. And sometimes it's still easier to just go into Indiana, make your remote bet, and come back. So that's another place where the remote registration matters, that you're actually, keeping some of the Chicago people from going over the border and betting in Indiana. I thought the first set of numbers were fairly impressive given the limited amount of books available and just also people figuring out the mobile app, even if it's only one mobile app at that point, in terms of the revenue reports that it showed.
Are those numbers what the gaming board expected? Because I remember here in New Jersey when New Jersey first went online with gambling, and the estimated numbers were astronomical, and there was no way New Jersey was going to reach those numbers. But were Illinois happy with the numbers? Were what they expected? Is it higher? Is it lower? What was the general feeling?
I think there's always a degree of over-promising numbers in terms of making sure you actually get what you need in terms of the sports betting being here. So it's hard to really pin an expectation on where, whether or not it met, exceeded, or underwhelmed in that regard. And I also think that COVID completely skews any sort of estimate that you can have in terms of a first year. I mean, in a perfect world, you would have had sort of like, I guess, an organized rollout of, these sports books have their retail licenses. Then maybe 3 months down the road, okay, these sports books have their mobile licenses. You have fits and starts with the industry because of the COVID, and just also that the Illinois Gaming Board, to its credit, is a very deliberate body, and also at the same time that becomes a source of frustration that you're waiting for these books to come online, and as a result, some of those numbers are going to be difficult to hit in terms of expectations. So I think it's kind of difficult to match up an expectation to an X number given both the pandemic and also just how this board moves through the regulatory process of dotting I's and crossing T's.
What time frame are we looking at when we look at the numbers in this report?
Well, one of the things that's interesting and frustrating just in terms of a reporting standpoint is that the casinos and the sports books have 30 days from the end of the previous month to report their numbers. So there's this 45-day lag from a month's report to when you see the report. And also in the case of this, and this was it was the first set of reports released by the IGB, that they were going through things. They were trying to put together the correct accounting mechanisms in place, and also the website, they break it out by reports, and then you have to go to a separate tab to do tax revenue. So there was a lot of moving pieces for the first part. So at first I had trouble, just figuring out where they put everything. But at the same time, the 45-day lag is going to be a little bit, difficult to work with. But at the same time, I think as you get the volume of sports books up and running, and then a consistent figure of sports books up and running, it'll be easier to tell. And you just have to deal with the actual lag.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to bring up now. I mean, when we look at this report, we're really looking, as we're sitting today, only a fraction of the sports books that are now operating in Illinois. I mean, are there sports books right now that aren't reflected into this report?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I mean, right now that, the first month was essentially Bet Rivers only for mobile.
Okay.
So the August report will have essentially all of Bet Rivers and DraftKings. FanDuel entered on August 28th, so they'll have about 4 days worth of reports for the August report. September will be the report that everyone will point to. And unfortunately, it won't be available until mid-November.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But September will have this full report where you have 7 retail books and 5 mobile books. Because in the retail game, the 2 that do not have mobile books right now are Hollywood casinos in Joliet and Aurora. And Joliet, like Alton, was also under the advanced COVID mitigation measures, so they were also operating at 25% for a period of time. The September report will be the one that everyone will point to in terms of how much potential has there been fulfilled and what kind of ceiling there is, because PointsBet still hasn't. PointsBet will in all likelihood not be operating retail until October at this point. So there'll still be one that's an outlier, and also it's an extremely different outlier in the sense that it's an off-track betting retail kiosk in 4 different places when you count the actual track itself.
So who was the big winner in terms of revenue in Illinois? I know when they come out with reports, all the reporters saying, the big winner was this one. I remember in New Jersey when DraftKings was the first one out of the block with regard to sports betting, and that was number one for a long time until FanDuel eventually caught up with them. But in terms of Illinois, just starting to report its numbers, who was the top money winner in the state?
BetRivers was easily the top provider in terms of both retail and mobile. I mean, mobile, they had no competition, so, it's almost like, a walkover win, to use a tennis term. And Argosy is in a different part of the state that's not as populated as where Rivers is. Rivers is on the outskirts of Chicago. Argosy is in Alton, which is approximately a half hour north of St. Louis. So you have while you do have a major metropolitan market there, it's not Chicago, for lack of a better term. When you go forward, how DraftKings introduces itself in the August report will be something to look at, because they will have had mobile sign up for 2 weeks from the 5th through the. They will have had they had mobile sign-ups that people had to complete in person over that 2-week plan before the executive order was restored. So DraftKings numbers are going to be muddled to a degree, but at the same time, there's also going to be enough there to kind of sense what they had heading into September, and then you'll get a truer picture in September when you're able to count everything operating at full tilt, or as much full tilt as they could at that point.
Chris, I got to ask you, in your great article on SportsHandle.com, you noted that in delivering this revenue report, the Illinois Gaming Board Administrator, I think his name is Marcus Fruchter, I hope I said his name right, he had a very interesting comment. I thought it was rather strange to make a statement like that. He reminded everyone involved in Illinois gaming, whether it's a sportsbook operator or people even applying for licenses, that it's important for them to remain professional in order to maintain the public trust. That's a given for anything, but that's a given for everyone. But he actually made a big point of that. Is there a story behind that, or is it he's just reminding people of that, or is that just because it's the first report he thought he'd throw that out there? Is there a story behind that?
Oh yes, there is a story, and it goes back to BetRivers fighting DraftKings and fighting FanDuel and everyone trying to play nice. So when Governor Pritzker restored the executive order in August, short time after that, the CEO and co-founder of DraftKings, Jason Robbins, put out a tweet that said, feels so good to be taking mobile registrations in Illinois, especially after the corrupt idiots at Rush Street Gaming tried to block us in the state. Over the long run, good policy always wins. I commend J.B. Pritzker for doing what's right for the citizens of Illinois.
Okay.
So naturally, this did really not sit well with Rush Street Gaming, which to the rightfully so kind of way.
Sure.
So naturally, we saw the response from Rush Street, and Jill Dorson, my coworker, who's very good at this, was able to get a statement from them in which Rush Street Interactive responded. Rush Street has never been asked to leave the state, pays taxes on every wager, and has not been named in multiple consumer class action suits, which this kind of, I'm just going to take my glove off and slap you backhanded with it kind of statement. So there's clearly animosity between these two sides. FanDuel has kind of, I won't say shied away from direct confrontation might be the best term, but they've actually picked up the email lobbying push that DraftKings started that led to the executive order being restored. It was kind of funny because as someone who has all 5 apps on the phone, you obviously get the email alerts. And one of them was this lobbying push to make the suspension of the in-person registration provision permanent. And it led to the same website, Fans for the Future, that the DraftKings email push started. So FanDuel is being just a little, FanDuel is just content to operate under the radar when it comes to disliking, Rush Street Interactive, whereas DraftKings is a little more bold and a little more brash. It's, represented well by Jason Robbins, and that's what you get occasionally.
That's why I love Illinois gaming. It's this kind of interaction. I love it. In the past couple of weeks, New Jersey just set a record for handle. Pennsylvania set a state record for handle. Is Illinois expecting to see those type of numbers? Are they going to compete with New Jersey and Pennsylvania and even Nevada pretty soon?
I think the first thing Illinois needs to do is to compete with Indiana in terms of handle. Let them get to Indiana first, and then you can start talking about taking on the bigger, like stepping up in weight class and going up against Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada. Indiana, to its credit, is a very mature market here. It did $170 million in handle last month. It has remote registration. It still has access to a good portion of the Chicago market through the two casinos right on the state line. I am a half hour from those casinos, and they are full. Even with COVID protocols, they are full.
Wow. And
they have remote registration. And also, one of the things that might actually work in Illinois' favor is that El Dorado Properties has to sell Horseshoe Hammond, which is one of those two casinos just over the border, as part of the acceptance of that monstrous merger with Caesars. The Indiana Gaming Commission said that when that merger was going through, that they estimated that Caesars would have approximately 55% of the betting populace, and the Gaming Commission said, yeah, that's not going to fly. And Caesars came back and said, well, we'll sell 2. And then the IGC said, no, you'll sell 3, and Hammond will be one of them. So Illinois could benefit from that, as there's a sort of like a lull in terms of who buys that casino eventually, because there's going to be some sort of transition, because Unibet entered there in terms of a mobile skin, and that's not as well known as, say, DraftKings or FanDuel. So it'll be interesting to see if Illinois can siphon off some of that market. But Illinois will easily hit 9 figures in terms of handle, whether it's the August report when DraftKings kicks in or the September report when, there's a definite fuller picture. But I also want to see what these 230,000 registered mobile accounts actually deliver in terms of a handle before saying that they're going to jump up against Pennsylvania and jump up against New Jersey. Get to Indiana first, make your mark there, and then if you have the game, then step up and play them.
You mentioned the September report, and I know we're in a time when all the sports are being played, and I've talked to a lot of sports book operators and a lot of fantasy sports operators, and they're expecting some incredible numbers in September and into the fall. Is that what we can expect from Illinois? Is that what the target is from September to maybe December, seeing how they do when all the sports are in play?
I think that's some of it. I think the NFL is a much bigger. I think we're going to see just how big a driver the NFL is, especially in a market like this where we have Bears fans. You can like shake a tree and 10 of them will fall out. So I think that you'll see that. I think the added options of having the NBA and the NHL playoffs carry into the fall in an unprecedented manner helps as well. And the fact that the Big Ten is going to come back is going to be a huge boom to the Midwest if everything is successful in that regard. I think that, again, you'll see these 9 figures. But I also think that you're going to see you're going to see all those states that have legalized sports betting also see that uptick as well. It's whether or not this state, which is the 6th most populous state, rises in relative terms to that population. And if you have a bigger base of sports bettors, you're going to have a bigger handle.
Also, Illinois is a cold weather state, and I've talked to a lot of mobile operators, and they say, what, when wintertime comes and the weather starts getting colder, we see an uptick of registrations. Is Illinois expecting an uptick when these winter months come?
I would hope so, because there are some days out here where you just have no interest in leaving your apartment or house. I mean, I remember there was one week where I don't think it got above 5 below as a high.
Whoa.
And by that point, you walk out of your apartment and, your eyes hurt just walking out at that point. So I think there will be some of it. And again, a lot of this goes back to whether or not the in-person registration provision does get removed by legislators if it comes to that point. I don't think that there would be a dramatic slowing of the pace of online registered users if it's still in place at that point, because I think you're going to have a good portion of these people come online during this window with the NFL season and college football, and also college basketball. Knock on wood, should we get to that point. But if you do remove the in-person registration, it will be very easy to see those numbers spiral upwards at a uniform clip, I think.
So in the coming months and the coming year, what can we expect from the gaming market in Illinois? Will there be more mobile books coming? Will there be more retail books coming? What can we expect from Illinois?
Well, PointsBet will be the next retail book that comes through. And then at some point, the Illinois Gaming Board will likely approve Fairmount Park for a sports betting license, and FanDuel will have a retail presence there in addition to Paradise Casino. By that point, there will only be 3 casinos that have not applied for a sports betting license, and they are the 2 Harrah's casinos in Joliet and Metropolis, and also Jumers, which is by Quad Cities on the Iowa border. We were actually trying to kick this idea around in the sense that Jumers may be the last place for a large player to enter the market, being that Harrah's is part of Caesars, and Caesars is now part of El Dorado, and they are migrating their sports books to William Hill. Jumers might be the last place where someone like BetMGM or Fox Bet come in, or so like a larger regional player, a larger national player comes in. So that will be there. The other thing is the 2 tracks, Hawthorne and Fairmont, have also applied for Racino licenses. And Hawthorne is further along. They were deemed what the IGB calls preliminary suitable for the Racino license. And there would obviously be a retail component for the sports books at those 2 places, so that while it's 3 and 4 years down the road, depending on construction pace, they're there. And it's also another place where you raise the ceiling in terms of revenue potential by having them exist.
Chris, we're running out of time, but I want to make sure that you tell people where they can read your articles and how they can follow you on social media.
Well, we have SportsHandle.com. We also have USBets.com. There's a few state-related websites that you can also tag along to that you can find. I am on Twitter at Altruda73, ALTRUDA, and the number 73. I usually link just about everyone's articles to both mine and coworkers, so it's busy in that regard, and every now and then I'll provide some pithy commentary on the society we're in.
Chris Altruda from SportsHandle.com and Better Collective, thanks so much for coming on and giving us an update of what's going on in Illinois. It's an incredible state with an amazing gambling market, so please come back on and keep us updated.
Would absolutely love to, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff that will spice up your bedroom is even better. Just go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item for 50% off, and then we'll load on the free stuff. Just enter this very exclusive code, BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get 10 tantalizing free gifts, including a sexy item for him, a special toy for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. And 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. Plus,
free shipping.
Always sent in discreet packaging. Go to adamandeve.com now. Get 50% off plus the 10 free gifts when you enter the exclusive offer code BABE16. That's BABE16 because without it, no free stuff. That's BABE16 at adamandeve.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-231-9279. That's 800-231-9279. 800-231-9279.
And the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Picks segment is brought to you by William Hill in New Jersey. Football is back, and William Hill is celebrating 2020 season with a great new welcome offer in New Jersey. Sign up with William Hill Online Sportsbook in New Jersey using our promo code PIKE500 to receive a free bet up to $500 with your first deposit of $50 or more. That's promo code PIKE500 for a free bet up to $500 with your first deposit of $50 or more at William Hill in New Jersey. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey. Terms and conditions apply. New customers only. Problem gambler. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, we're now in week 6 of the National COVID League.
Yeah, boy.
Everything's changing.
Bizarre.
And you know what? It's not, again, always nice to see a league rolling with what's going on, and they've got the flexibility to do this.
Yeah, there's new safety procedures too. So.
Double gaiters.
Yeah, I guess if the coaches are wearing gaiters, they have to have a double gaiter?
They have to double it up, yeah.
Double it up.
So
can't they just refold it over, or they have to have two separate gaiters? What is the
that's
rule
what's
on that one?
I don't know. That's what's unclear. So I don't know if they can double it up or not. But again, we're rolling with it as the league is rolling with it. You know, talking about our picks here. I mean, as always, 3 games each. We'd either choose spread or total over under. They'll be put up on the Turnpike Sports blog. Just head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button. You'll be taken to the blog for the show. They'll be up after the show is released. Feel free to comment on them. Info at turnpikesportsradio.com. Social media at Turnpike Sports for Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio for Instagram. And also you can leave your comments on the blog as well. Last week, both of us went 1 and 2.
Yeah. Not a great week.
Not
very good.
But as long as I win
profitable.
1, I'm okay. Yeah, I don't like the 0 and 3s.
Strangely enough, I actually won more money on fantasy sports this weekend.
Don't even bring that up.
Than I did on actual sports betting. So it's interesting.
I got to get an algorithm or something because obviously I had a whole bunch of good players on 2 different teams and I won squat.
Oh, well.
So, it's one of those things. But anyway, got week 6 here, and I went first last time. You can go ahead.
You know, my first game is the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are favored by 3.5 points with an over-under of 51. I'm back on the Cleveland Browns bandwagon. I'm just loving the way this offense is clicking. And I know Pittsburgh has one of the best defenses in the NFL, but, I really think that the Cleveland Browns will get their chance at the end zone lots of times. Check this out. The Browns in their last 4 games have hit their over 4 times, and in the last 21 games, Pittsburgh Steelers have hit their over 16 times. Now, the over-under in this game is 51. I'm taking the over because, like I said, I think it's going to be close. I think the Browns will have their shot at the end zone and some points, which will make the Pittsburgh Steelers have to try and get some points and score early and often. So I think more than 51 points will be scored in this game.
Well, I went with this game as well for my picks.
Here we go, head-to-head again.
I think this is the marquee matchup of the AFC North. I think these are actually the two best teams right now. They're the Browns. You can make an argument for the Ravens all season long, but I think right now with what the Browns are doing, they're more consistent on offense. They're more creative in their game planning. I really think the Browns and the Steelers are going to be fighting for the top spot in the AFC North when all is said and done, more so than the Ravens. You mentioned the over being 4-0 in the Browns' last 4 games. Pittsburgh's coming off a game with the Eagles where the total was 60 points.
Yeah, huge.
But the one thing I saw in some of my research was that the home team in this series is 4-0 against the spread in the last 4 meetings. And I really wanted to go over here, but I think Pittsburgh is more complete as a team compared to Cleveland, and I'm doing the Steelers with the 3.5.
All right, here's my next game, which a little bit different analysis on my part. My second game is the Denver Broncos versus the New England Patriots, who are favored by 9 with an over-under. Get this one. I didn't see a lot of over-unders in the New Jersey sports books, but I found there's a couple of sports books in Vegas that has the over-under 45.5. And let me tell you something. I don't care what the over-under is. I'm taking the under in this game because Jared Stidham, really? They're not going to score. Denver Broncos, really? You think they're going to score a lot? I think regardless of what you get for the over-under of this game, I'm taking the under.
Even if
how about that for an analysis?
Will your analysis change if Cam Newton plays?
No, it won't. No? I'm still going under because, look, he's been sidelined for a week and a half now. And, look, it just this whole mess with COVID. You just don't know. Your practice facilities are closed down. It's a different way of doing things. I know athletes have a certain routine during the year, and this really screws around with it. And let's be honest, both these teams aren't really, really good, and I don't think they're going to put a lot of points on the board. So, I'm still taking the under.
Okay.
That's my analysis. It's weird and it's bizarre. I just don't have any faith in either of these teams.
Well, here's a game where I have no faith in the team I'm going to be talking about here. The New York Jets are visiting the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 8 over under 47.5.
How about the Dolphins? Boy, put a smack down on the 49ers.
Well, that's part of the reasoning I'm going to be going through here. The Jets are a mess. Offense, defense are both bad. Actually, the only bright spot for the Jets this season is the punter, and Gase is making sure he's getting all the work in as possible because of all those 3-and-outs they're doing. The Jets got beat up badly by the Cardinals. They allowed Murray to have a career day with over 350 yards passing. This game with the Dolphins got moved up in the schedule because of the COVID shifting. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to be playing them twice later this year, where there was a hope they were going to be facing Tua. Instead of now, they're going to be facing a red-hot Fitzmagic.
Yeah, boy.
He is playing incredibly well. I've never seen him play better than what he's been doing this year.
He usually does this in a contract year.
It is a contract year.
It is? Okay.
Yeah. I think every year he does now is a contract year. Right now, the over is 4-0 in the Jets' last 4 games, following a game where they gave up over 250 passing yards. It's an interesting stat. Mm-hmm. The over is 5-1 in the Dolphins' last 6 home games. The over is also 5-1 in the Dolphins' last 6 games versus teams with a losing record. And given the Jets are 0-5, I'm assuming they're going to be 0-6. I'm not picking the Jets here. I'm doing the over 47.5.
My next game I picked because the number was good at the time I saw it. So here's my reasoning. My next game is the Arizona Cardinals, who are favored by 2.5 versus the Dallas Cowboys with an over-under of 54.5. Look, there was a devastating injury to Dak Prescott. I mean, he was keeping them close in games because he was having a record-setting season, and it was terrible to see him go down like that. That being said, the Cowboys' defense has done nothing this year. They have a real problem keeping people out of the end zone and from keeping people from scoring. And I think the Arizona Cardinals will do enough to win this game by at least a field goal, I think. But let me tell you something. I got the game at 2.5. Maybe closer to game time, this may go up to 3. That's why I wanted to jump on the Arizona Cardinals when I saw the 2.5. Because, look, I mean, Dallas is really hurting right now. So, and they really got to pick up. I know the Red Rifle is such a great number 2, but is that what they call him?
Yeah, he's still the Red Rifle.
Andy Dalton is the Red Rifle, but yeah, he's an excellent NFL quarterback. I don't think he has the same effect as Dak Prescott on that offense. He still has weapons around him, but it's just that Dallas defense that I'm worried about. I think the Arizona Cardinals will win. I think they'll cover at least a field goal. That's why I'm taking them at 2.5.
Well, my last game is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are favored by 8, and the over-under is 46.5. Even though the Colts really got their butts handed to them by Cleveland last week, the Colts have the best defense in the league. I still think they do. Even though Cincinnati's playing very well lately, they're still trying to find ways to win, especially Joe Burrow. So I really think the Colts are in a little different stratus than what the Bengals have been playing lately. And even though the favorite is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 meetings, and the under is also 5-1, the 8-point spread is too much. I really don't feel comfortable doing the Colts at 8 points. But you mix in the fact that the under is 10-2-1 in the Bengals' last 13 games as a road underdog. I'm going with the under of 46.5.
Okay.
So recapping.
I'm going with the over 51 points in the Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers game. I'm going with the under in the Broncos-Patriots game, which is 45.5. And I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals minus 2.5 points over the Dallas Cowboys.
And I did Steelers with the 3.5. I did the over 47.5 with the Jets-Dolphins game, and the under 46.5 with the Bengals-Colts game. Again, these picks will be up on the Turnpike Sports blog after the show is released on Thursday morning here. Just head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the blog button, you'll see them there. Feel free to comment on them, info at turnpikesportsradio.com, at Turnpike Sports on the Twitter and Facebook, at Turnpike Sports Radio on Instagram, and also you can leave your comments on the blog anytime you want.
And coming up after this, we have the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Tax Solutions Now is a complimentary referral service that connects callers to companies that provide tax services.
Money matters. If you owe thousands in back taxes to the IRS, how much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I paid less than I owe.
That's right, money matters. So call Tax Solutions Now and get the IRS off your back. Since 2014, Tax Solutions Now has been a leader in the tax resolution industry. Remove wage garnishments, property liens, fines, and penalties. Qualify for the Fresh Start program or even uncollectible status. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I owed the IRS over $10,000. I paid a fraction of what I owed.
Call now to reduce or even eliminate your back taxes.
I called Tax Solutions Now and got the IRS off my back. Thanks. You saved us a ton of money.
Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you? Call now and find out.
Call 800-683-7377. 800-683-7377. 800-683-7377.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available, and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. 800 888-217-1797.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
And the Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com, your favorite casinos, now your favorite sports book, available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report, we cover some revenue numbers, handle numbers. We got some legislation, as well as
new legislation,
as well as a new hire.
Oh, okay, all right.
So let's start with the numbers game here. Indiana has reported their numbers for the month of September, their sports betting revenue and handle numbers, and they set a record of $207 million in handle.
Another record, huh? Boy, records.
Well, again, busy September.
I get. Wow.
10.8% higher than the previous record, $187 million set back in February of this year. 83% of the total handles from mobile devices. That goes without saying in this day and age right now. And let's see, revenue was $14.2 million for the month. That's Indiana. Now, I wonder how Indiana is going to handle some of the competing states around them now, especially Illinois, when that starts really taking off.
Sure.
I mean, they set a record. I don't know if you're going to be able to maintain this with some of the surrounding competition coming out.
I don't know, because I remember a couple years ago when sports betting spread outside of Nevada, everyone was talking about, I wonder if Nevada is going to be hurt by other states starting sports betting, and they weren't hurt. They were breaking records too. So there's a demand for it.
Oh,
so, yeah. I think every place is going to be on the rise, I think.
Well, I remember the discussions when Pennsylvania launched sports betting with Jersey.
Yeah.
And Jersey didn't flinch.
No.
Matter of fact, it went up.
Record handles in New Jersey, record handles in Pennsylvania, too.
And I think those two states are still affected by the fact that New York doesn't have any online sports betting.
That's the curious part. Once New York starts getting mobile sports betting, that should be very interesting.
Yep. Iowa reported numbers, $72.4 million in handle, an all-time high there.
Oh, in Iowa, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold was 7%. And the only reason I keep mentioning hold from time to time here is because everyone's watching Tennessee with the 10% hold coming up.
Sure.
That's a mandated 10%. They got to hold.
All right.
So that's going to be interesting. But Iowa,
Tennessee hasn't started yet, right?
No, November 1st. The hold is 7%. Revenue, they brought in $5.1 million in revenue. Internet handle, $50 million of the 72 was online. August total handle was $50 million. So they went 100%. They matched it 100%. Internet this month in September, the August total handle was $50 million. So internet gambling is on the rise here, sports betting-wise, in Iowa. Let's see. Online sports betting handle in September dipped a little bit to 69%, down from 69.5% in August. Just a little bit of a dip. Illinois brought in $139.6 million handle in August. Online handle of $123 million. That's 88.5% of the total handle was done online in Illinois. Mm-hmm. $7.2 million in revenue, and 5% hold.
All right.
Bet Rivers was the market leader in all categories. They're basically really the first and still the best one over there in Illinois. I'm still waiting to see DraftKings and FanDuel catch up real quick. But it's interesting. Washington, D.C. Now, everyone had been talking about Gambit D.C. and how, I don't want to say how bad it is in pricing, but
really?
A lot of people complain about it. It's Intralot. It's the state-run, the district-wide gambling entity.
Well, I think once they start getting more competition from within D.C. and around the area of D.C., maybe they'll adjust their pricing. Maybe the market will determine what they charge.
Gambit D.C. brought in a handle of $3.3 million in September. And to your point about competition, The William Hill Sportsbook inside the Capital One Arena, in its very first month of activity, reported $9.1 million in handle.
Oh, okay.
They had 69,000 bets, paid out $7.7 million to customers, and $1.4 million in total revenue.
Wow.
That's just the William Hill Sportsbook. That's not the total handle. Gambit is just being outclassed, I think, by the William Hill right now. I think they got to look at or re-examine what's going on with Gambit in terms of pricing.
It's early. I'm sure they're going to adjust to the market, so I think that's going to change.
Well, we'll see. I mean, as more and more places start launching the sports betting apps in their stadiums and wherever else they're going to be doing, there's also a new company called Handle 19 coming, too. So it'll be interesting to see how that impacts the numbers as well. Over in West Virginia, now, West Virginia is kind of interesting because they report weekly numbers. They don't do monthly revenue and handle and hold like all the other states do. They go week to week.
Interesting.
And a couple interesting news and notes here. The week ending September 19th, the Greenbrier had become the top spot in West Virginia for sports betting.
Which is strange because isn't that like, I don't want to call it a private sports book, but it's one of those things where, you just can't walk in off the street and place a bet there, right?
No, but they have partnered with FanDuel and BetMGM.
Okay, all right.
So the two mobile platforms combined to accept over $7 million in handle.
Oh, okay.
That's for the week of September 19th.
Okay, so through their partnerships.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
But still, it's all the Greenbrier license, so it's reported as the Greenbrier.
Okay.
The $7 million is more than double what DraftKings Sportsbook, who is partnered with Hollywood Casino in West Virginia, brought in. They only brought in $3.4 million in handle. So the two mobile platforms, FanDuel and BetMGM, outperformed the DraftKings platform for that week in September 19th. On the week of September 12th, and this is why West Virginia's kind of, you have to follow this closely with this state.
Yeah.
Because you can go week to week here. The week of September 12th, they had a new weekly record for online and retail betting in the state. $10.5 million in mobile wagers was also recorded.
I'm trying to think of what sporting events were occurring that week. So it's hard to tell.
Well, it's football.
Yeah, I guess it's football, yeah, but,
Football, NBA Finals.
Okay.
Baseball playoffs.
All right, yeah.
What else? You had UFC. You also had college football, too.
Yeah, okay, all right.
So,
anything special, I'm trying to think. Why did that create a record? I'm just wondering.
Hockey.
Okay, well, yeah. Well.
I mean, it's hard to keep track of what a specific week had going. I mean, you could say in a month what you know exactly what was going on, but a specific week is kind of hard to pinpoint.
It's easier to figure out what people are betting on when you're following it week to week, though. You know, so that's kind of good.
In the last 2 weeks that have been reported for West Virginia, 77% of the bets were placed through a mobile app.
Okay,
so mobile is key to doing all this stuff, as always. And we keep mentioning Tennessee when they launched. That's a mobile-only state. So it'll be fun to watch that state when it launches. Going over to, and I mentioned at the beginning of the book report, we had a new hire.
Okay.
New Hampshire. The New Hampshire Lottery has appointed Daniel Maloney as its first director of sports betting. Brand new position created for the New Hampshire Lottery.
I just assumed that they had one.
No.
I guess not. Okay.
No.
Now, who is it? And this is New Hampshire, right?
This is New Hampshire, the New Hampshire Lottery, the sports betting division of the New Hampshire Lottery.
Okay.
This guy worked for the Nevada Gaming Control Board as an intern. He is also a lawyer, Master's of Law degree in Gaming and Regulation from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV.
Okay.
12 years experience in contract and compliance law, so it's a good hire.
Absolutely.
And I think New Hampshire is going to actually be a fun state to watch as well, because I know DraftKings has the exclusive contract, but they are now starting to open up the retail shops everywhere, too.
Great. Well, congratulations to, what's his name again?
Daniel Maloney.
Congratulations.
And we're seeing some other deals being made. We talked briefly about this in a previous episode of the Turnpike Sports Book Report. A Simple Bet. They specialize in micro markets and the micro transactions, play to play.
Mm-hmm.
not pay to play, play to play. Going from like a first down to a second down, what it'll be.
Oh, okay.
Micro bets.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's hard to say play to
live
play.
in-play betting kind of thing.
Per play betting.
Per play betting. Okay.
That might be the better way to
play
it.
betting.
Per
okay.
play betting. They did a deal with Intralot to supply them with the micro market betting opportunities for NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA. Now, we just mentioned Intralot having their issues with the DC sports betting market. Intralot also runs Oregon, too, and also Montana.
Okay.
So you're going to start seeing microtransactions everywhere. Simple Bet also did a deal with FanDuel as well. So seeing a lot of micro markets starting to appear. Again, it's NFL, MLB, and NBA. It's happening now for NFL and also for the Major League Baseball postseason. Next season will be for the National Basketball Association. So micro market betting has not started yet. So we'll see exactly what I don't know exactly how many people enjoy micro market betting, but it seems to be catching on a lot.
It's kind of fun. It's really fun. You sit there and watch TV with your phone in your hand. And
I think two sports really may benefit from the micro markets. Golf.
I love doing golf.
Bowling.
Okay, I haven't done bowling yet. So
the PBA just did their deals with all their sports betting partners. So I think we might see some micro market betting there.
I am seeing a lot of bowling on TV lately. So maybe I'll give it a shot.
It's a renewed push. And over in Maryland, the sports betting legalization issue is going to be on the upcoming ballot. In anticipation of this, the Live Casino and Hotel in Arundel Mills has started construction on a sports-themed lounge, restaurant, and sports betting venue.
Great.
It's going to be called – it's the Center Stage Performance Venue. It's going to be called the Sports and Social Club.
Well, that's one of those competitors for Washington, D.C.
Yep.
So,
especially with a 212-seat club, 100 screens, 47-foot wide main screen, and everybody in the room, according to the way the construction is set up, everyone will be able to watch, every individual in the lounge will be able to watch at least 10 games from where they're sitting.
Great.
All at once.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. If you're going out to one of the casinos or sports books that newly reopened, please stay safe, and we'll see you next time on the Turnpike.